Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Tea and Sweets Lounge. Of course, you guys know I am your hostess with the mostest, Miss J, aka Miss Simone Jackson, here to bring you guys another great episode of the Tea and Sweets Lounge. And you guys know we are a celebrity podcast show that does different celebrity interviews, and I'm super excited for my guest today. I've been meaning to get her on here for a while. She is a very, very talented, award-winning filmmaker. She also just signed a distribution deal. There we go, with Revolt TV, and of course she is now dabbling into horror, which thanks to I'm very excited to be hearing it, and thanks to, of course, Jordan Peele, we are now getting more people of doing different genres, and especially horror, so I'm super, super excited. Everyone, please give a big, warm welcome to Miss Filmmaker Britt Banks. Hi, Britt.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Of course. How are you doing?
I am fabulous. How are you?
I am doing great. I'm super glad you're here and on the Tea and Sweets Lounge. If it's all right with you, I'm going to fire actually the first question off to you. Been wanting to know, Miss Britt, what began your passion for filmmaking?
That is a great question. So before I actually get into my career as a filmmaker, as it is now, I actually want to pay a visit to my childhood passion, which was theater and stage performance. And I feel that in some way that ultimately influenced my path towards wanting to create as an adult. So when I was a kid, I began performing monologues and speeches and competitions. I think that was around second grade. And when I went on to high school, I became a part of this performing arts magnet for the city of Long Beach. And that was a huge deal for me. Around that same time, I was enrolled at the Amazing Grace Conservatory, and Wendy Raquel Robinson was actually one of my instructors. So it wasn't until I went off to college and I tried to bury my creative side for what I thought was a serious career, as if entertainment isn't the most serious thing ever, that I began to feel out of place. And in a sense, I kind of lost myself. And so I began to feel passionate towards film again. I think it was in my late 20s when I became extremely vulnerable at the hands of the situation I was going through. And one of the exercises that was recommended to me was that I keep a journal and I write in it every single day, even if I didn't feel like it. And so I did that. And eventually I wrote that situation out with a different ending. And the feeling that I got from reading an alternate ending, it literally birthed my desire and passion to want to get back into entertainment, to write and create stories. And that just eventually and naturally led to directing and producing. And I always tell people that writing is my first love, and that's because I truly hold dear to the feeling of empowerment when I was able to kind of, in a sense, gain control of the narrative and write the ending to that story, to my story. That was the moment that began my passion for filmmaking.
I love that. And I love the diary, because I also wrote in a diary, actually kind of similar with podcasting. I actually wrote in a diary, kind of just expressing my thoughts and all the kind of stuff, and that's actually where it led me here. So yeah, I am like smiling right now thinking, oh my gosh, her story's a little bit similar to mine. That's awesome. I love that. As I, even though I messed up the word in the beginning, as I said in the beginning, you signed a 3-year deal with Revolt TV. What was that like for you?
That was actually an amazing feeling. It really felt good knowing that although my team and we had limited resources and funds, which is kind of the case on a lot of my projects, but we still put in time and work and effort, and we produced a high quality film that was not just good enough, but it was selected out of, I think it was around a little over 60 films to screen on Revolt TV. Yeah, it was a horror competition that they had going on, and I saw some of the competition. It was really good, but when I saw that I won second place in the competition, I just stopped and I said, wow, P. Diddy's network picked me. Like, wow, P. Diddy. It was pretty cool.
Right? Oh my goodness, I've been like this P. Diddy. I probably would have fainted. You did a lot better job than I did. I would have fainted. Just being honest. I would have definitely fainted. I think that's incredible though. Though that is amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, that is, girl, that is amazing. Going on to the number 3 question. Your critically acclaimed film, Thick, won multiple awards, and it's based on a true story. What was kind of the experience like for you creating this film, knowing that the subject matter really very hit close to home with you?
So I wrote Thick after the murder of Tamir Rice, like right after. And initially, I wanted to tell a story about sibling love and focus more on that aspect as opposed to the actual act of police brutality.
Mm-hmm.
And more so because at that time, I don't know if you can flash back to Tamir, but
Mm-hmm.
social media was being bombarded with images and hashtags. Yes. And so I chose not to include the actual act of shooting and killing an unarmed Black man or teen or kid. But I actually became really emotional when I read that Tamir's teenage sister not only witnessed the shooting, but she was thrown in the backseat of a police car. And so it was the imagery of that scene alone that had me shocked and in tears and just wanting to write something about it. You know, that's my way of writing.
Right.
And so when I began writing Thick, I actually, in turn, was reminded of the loss of a relative at the hands of the police. So I had a cousin, and he was murdered by the police. And the story went, or that was told to our family, was that he was out with friends. They were pulled over. You know, everyone got out of the car and ran. My cousin was caught and handcuffed. And while face down on the ground, he was shot several times in his back. And so that's how I chose to open up Thick. And the story goes on to show the sister of the deceased that's laying on the ground and her cries for help as her life with her brother flashes before her eyes, because I think about my family and how it affected us deeply. It's like, okay, our cousin, he's gone, but we're still here with those lasting memories of not only his life, but now his death. And so that's how Thick went.
Oh, that is very, very powerful, Britt. And I have to say, it's very inspiring that you chose to, you know, a tragedy like this, you chose to try to create something positive instead of, you know, letting the emotions consume you and just, you know, let yourself be led to a dark place. You actually kind of shed some light and did some positivity and did this film, which, you know, like I said, it's multiple award winning, so it definitely affected people, and it definitely I'm gonna say open people's eyes. So I definitely want to congratulate you for that, because that is not the easiest thing. Definitely.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Going on to the number 4 question, you are creating quite the space for yourself in the horror genre. Can you tell us how you really got into the horror genre? Is horror your favorite, or how did that come for you?
Yeah, hands down. Horror is my favorite genre. It has been since I was a little kid. I think my mom, she thought I was a little weird. I wanted a Chucky doll. I love Freddy. I love Jason. I loved all of that.
Yes.
So yeah, to answer your question, horror is my favorite genre. And in the future, I do see myself working with different genres, but not without making my mark in horror first. Like, I want it to always be very clear that even if I go on to create like dark comedies or films on social injustices, I still will always find my way back to horror. And I find that it's been, I would say, both challenging and rewarding to tackle horror films. Rewarding it in a sense where I'm pushing myself to create this world outside of what's most relatable. Like, I often look at films and, you know, it's a lot of the action happens through dialogue shot in someone's living room. And I think, why didn't I think of that? Or why didn't I take that route? But instead instead, you know, I've got people in dark alleys and garages and slashers and ghosts, and it's I mean, it's rewarding in a sense where, you know, like I said, I'm pushing myself outside of a comfort zone, but it's challenging because, like I said, I've got to film in dark alleys and garages. but but I really but I really do. I love horror, and I'm just so glad that my horror film Ronald, which was actually my first stab, no pun intended, at horror, was so well received.
That was a really nice, well-placed pun. Just saying. Very nice indeed. Oh, but I love that though. I do. I absolutely love that. It's refreshing to see, I'm going to say people of color actually taking on the horror genre, because it's not,
Mm-hmm.
people will say, it's not something that, Black people do. No, I love horror movies. I've been watching every single horror movie since I was born. So I love it. And I love the horror films that are also smart. They also make you think. I love those types. I mean, thank you, Jordan Peele, for, with Get Out and Us. They're both scary, but they're both very intelligently done horror films. So
they're both thought-provoking. I agree.
Yes. So I'm super excited to see, it's great that Ronald is your first stab at the horror genre, but I am super excited to see what else, you can come up with, because like I said, I think it's refreshing. Absolutely.
Thank
refreshing.
you.
No problem. All right, going on to the number 5 question. I want to make sure my audience follows you, Britt, and your work. Where are you on social media?
Okay, let's start with Twitter. So my handle currently, because I know people change them all the time, I'll try to stick with this one forever, but my current handle on Twitter is my first and last name, which is Britt Banks, but there's kind of a unique spelling to it. So it's BRITTTBANKS. You can also follow Ronald's page, because it is being developed into an actual series based off of the short film. So that is Ronald, the series. And my latest project, which is on Twitter under Nightmares 2. And then on Instagram, there's just one handle. It is Britt, BRITT, Banks, BANKS Productions.
Ooh. All right, audience, you heard it from her. Make sure you guys check her out on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you check out her horror film, Ronald. Make sure you guys just follow her, because I do believe we could have another Jordan Peele-like mastermind on our hands. I'm hoping. I am so hoping, because I love horror films, and I love the fact that it's getting such a reboost and a resurgence. So I'm excited to see where we can go within a year. So I'm excited. Also, Britt, what projects are you also working on that you can maybe give a little dish about to Tea and Sweets Lounge?
So in November of 2018, I began writing a full feature, and it is titled Nightmares Are Dreams Too. It's actually a play on a famous quote by Oscar Wilde that states, "They promise that dreams can come true, but forgot to mention that nightmares are dreams too." And when I began writing the feature, it was literally out of a desire that I've had to see a slave narrative that avenges the pure evil that my ancestors were put through. And so, I feel like I've seen multiple slave narratives, and, it's not just my desire. It was also as a result to kind of an outcry that I noticed going on, a little trend on social media where people were saying they wanted to see a slave narrative where there wasn't a white savior, or where, people weren't in compromising positions, or any false any extra false narratives, within
Right.
the slave narrative. And so Nightmares or Dreams 2 was birthed, but I put a twist on it. So it's set in the 90s, and the scenes that are of the antebellum South in the 1800s are actual flashbacks and nightmares of an adopted child who lives on the plantation. So she was adopted by the plantation owners. You know how they're handed down through the generations.
Mm-hmm.
So they're descendants. And a murder slave, who is also a hoodoo woman, uses the child's nightmares to wreak havoc on the family. So that's where that was birthed. We're actually launching a Kickstarter for Nightmares or Dreams 2 next week on MLK's birthday. And we're hoping, we're going to raise the funds and put that to work, and we're going to shoot it between Atlanta and New Orleans.
Wow. First off, I'm going to say you can go ahead and take my money now because I'm invested. I'm completely invested. Like, I was just going to ask you, like, can you continue on? Can you tell me more? Can you actually send me a script so I can actually read it? Because I was like, ooh. So I was like, okay.
Well, all I can say is it is a horror, and I want you to think a film cross of Get Out mixed with The Conjuring.
Love it. Those are one of my two favorite movies, so I can do that. I can so do that. Easily done. Going on to the number 7 question there, Britt. You're also an activist. What are some subjects that you advocate for?
So in the past, I've advocated heavily for domestic violence and police brutality, whether it was volunteering at shelters. There was a home I visited where children were affected by domestic violence, and I spent the entire day with them. That was an awesome experience. As far as police brutality, of course, I've attended several marches and town hall meetings, and have just tried to insert my voice wherever I saw fit. Mm-hmm. And also, as of late, I've been advocating for reparations, and it's really a necessary advocation for me, because I believe that reparations are owed to the descendants of those enslaved in the United States of America, and really all over, wherever, mm-hmm. Your particular government is that enslaved your ancestors. But I've just seen firsthand, as a descendant of those enslaved here in the United States, that I've seen how the hundreds of years of free forced labor really catapulted the U.S. economy ahead of other economies. And I see that, how it's negatively affect those left behind. Mm-hmm. So those are things that I'm currently and still and will continuously advocate for.
That's incredible. And I really have to say, you're one of the first, I actually think one of the first people on my podcast show to actually talk so openly about reparations and advocating for that. So I highly thank you for that, because I totally agree. So I totally agree with you. So I'm really glad you're doing that and you're advocating for that, and you're, so open to talking about that. So I appreciate you for that. I think that's awesome. I really do.
Thank you.
I think that's amazing. All right, we're coming up to the last few questions here, Miss Britt. Number 8, who do you look up to filmmaking wise?
Okay, first and foremost, Ava DuVernay. All right.
Yes. Yes.
Ava is, Ava's everything to me, but she's really a true example of excellence and consistency and grace. And I think that we all can agree on those 3 things.
Absolutely.
I was fortunate enough to meet her. Yeah, I was fortunate enough to meet her actually at a screening that she had in Los Angeles for documentary 13. Yeah, it was so cool. I was actually going to stay home because I remember I had this terrible headache. And I said, nope, this may be your chance to be in the same room as someone that you truly admire and you truly look up to. So I went anyway. And man, did I have such a fan moment. I'm always so cool anyway, so it didn't show, but I was geeked. Like, I was just so happy to meet, shake hands with, and speak to Ava. And the headache that I had actually disappeared for the few seconds that I took the picture with her. So that was great.
Oh my goodness.
Um,
I am like
right.
so jealous and happy at the same time. Oh my goodness, you did a lot better than I would. I think I would personally just start like ugly crying, and then that's about it. Like I wouldn't be able to do anything else
so
except
funny.
for that.
That is so funny.
I am being super honest. I always tell myself, of course, we always tell ourselves in our head, if we meet a celebrity, just be cool. They're just like us. Yeah, not if I'm Ava DuVernay. I'm gonna ugly cry. Like,
yeah, no. Yeah. She's
like,
so
no
amazing. So right after Ava is Shonda. I really admire the quality of work. I mean, just from her scripts to the screen and just everything that she does to me is so outstanding. Next, I would say that I look up to Spike Lee, and you know what? It's not just because of his films, because I think they're all outstanding, but I really look up to him because he's unapologetically Black, and he created films like Malcolm X. And you know what? I honestly, I can't even imagine how that must have felt, a movie like that in white Hollywood. And just for me trying to create right now a slave narrative that actively on screen shows revenge towards the oppressors. it just feels a little like risque and challenging. And so I can't even imagine what all he had to overcome with filming Malcolm X. And then next I would say I really look up to filmmakers like Robert Townsend and the Wayans, because they truly paved their own way. And that's what my journey has been about, paving my own way, asking questions, learning how to do things, not taking no for an answer, even when there's a million no's in front of you, and really trying to learn the business of the industry as far as, okay, if I sell this script, then they have the power to change the narrative and cut some scenes and insert compromises. And so I look up to them in that sense.
Absolutely. I love all your choices. Yes, been a huge Spike Lee fan for a very long time. So yes, I totally get with that. And like I said, I cannot wait to see your new film and just kind of the reaction. So I'm excited. So it can go either way, it can go either way, but I'm excited. I am super excited. I hope people do talk about it in the best way, of course, because we definitely need
in the best way.
Yes, in the best way. In the best way. Absolutely. All right. So we are coming up to the final two questions, Miss Britt. Coming up to number 9. What goals do you hope to achieve in your filmmaking career?
Well, let's see. Besides the fame and the fortune,
of course.
I really, truly hope to become known for producing good quality work. And that's from the picture to the sound. Like that, it's really important to me. I know that some people thrive off of popularity or, because they know the right connections, and so their stuff will get on. But I really want to be known for producing good quality work. And I hope to become a household name, and I also hope to create a masterpiece that will be talked about for generations to come.
Oh, I like that one. I like that last one. Yes. Yes, I think I think that is definitely in your future, Britt. It's definitely in your future. I predict that you could make one of the most jaw-dropping horror films we've ever seen. I'm gonna predict that into the future. Totally predict that in the future. I really am. I'm hoping that will come true because we definitely need one. Definitely need one.
Thank you.
Of course. Coming up to the last and final question, Miss Britt. Just we were talking about horror films, and of course, but what is your favorite scary movie, and what treat do you like to pair with that film?
Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, my favorite scary movie for years was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and
Yes.
it's because it's because I loved the jumps. Like there were so many jumps in that, and when I jump from a horror film, I laugh. So it's kind of like a roller coaster ride to me.
It
So
is.
yeah, so that was my favorite for years. But after I saw The Witch, which came out in 2015, that one actually took the cake for me. So my new favorite scary movie is The Witch, and I just felt like it was so well made. It was so dark. It was so mysterious, and I couldn't even tell that. I hope I'm not butchering his name. Robert Eggers. It said that it was his directorial debut feature film. I couldn't even tell that it was his first time doing a feature length film, you know? And
Right.
then it was, I think what really stuck with me was the feeling that I got at the end of the movie. I don't know if anyone's seen it, so I'm not going to ruin it with any spoilers, but I can really feel the ending in that scene. Like that was movie magic. And let's see, I would pair it with tea because it's an English film. So
Love
tea and
it. She's like, I'm
tea
here
and
for tea.
biscotti here.
That's fancy. I love it. She's like, I'm here for tea because it's a British film. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Simply brilliant. I love it. I do. I love it. There was no better pairing right there. I love it. And I definitely encourage everyone to see The Witch. Is that what you call?
Yeah, The Witch. It was actually one of Stephen King's favorite movies that he also listed. I think he posted that to Twitter.
Ooh. Well, if it got the horror king himself approval, then I
Right.
might have to give it a chance. I might have to give it a
Yeah,
chance.
exactly.
Yeah, I can't argue with
I
you
applauded that.
now. Oh my goodness. Oh, I definitely might have to see that because I definitely cannot argue with Stephen King. If he says it's a great movie, then I'm not going to argue. Okay, let's go see it. I'm not arguing. He says it's great. Let's go see it. Oh, Brittany,
Yep.
I'm super happy to be able to get you on the show. I've had such a great time talking with you, and I'm really, really excited for the projects you have coming up in the future. I definitely, of course, want to encourage my audience to go see Ronald, and of course more of her work, of Britt's work, because it's definitely going to be inspiring and moving and empowering and all of the great things that we definitely need. So, but I definitely appreciate talking to you today, there, Miss Britt.
Oh no, thank you so much for having me on. It was such a pleasure.
Absolutely. Again, I want to tell everyone, make sure you guys follow Miss Britt Banks on Twitter, on Instagram. Check out The Witch. I'm going to do that after this. Make sure you guys, yes, I'm going to check this out. But make sure you guys definitely also keep up with her advocate things that she advocates for. Like I said, the fact that she managed to turn a family tragedy into something positive, something moving, is absolutely incredible. And again, we definitely commend you for that, there, Miss Britt, because that's not the easiest thing to do, and you were able to push through it and be, people be affected by it in the best
Yeah.
way, wanting to make a change for it. That's awesome. So definitely want to thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Of course, everyone, you guys know this has been the Tea Sweets Lounge. I am your hostess with Moses, Miss J, aka Miss Simone Jackson. Definitely be back for another great episode of Tea and Sweets Lounge. Till then, I definitely want to wish everyone a good evening and make sure you guys stay safe out there. Windstorm, snowstorm. Make sure you guys stay safe out there. So, all right, I want to thank our guests one more time, Britt Banks, and I definitely want to thank everyone for tuning in. Till next time. Bye.